Hello and welcome to the Unit 6 review. In Unit 6 we worked a lot with writing linear equations, so that's what we're going to be doing today as well. So for the first section here we want to write the equation in slope-intercept form of the line through the given point with the given slope. So remember slope-intercept form, that's going to be y equals mx plus b, so that's slope times x plus the y-intercept. And if you remember the easiest way to do this, let's look at number 2 for an example. I'm going to say mx plus b here. I know my slope is -2, so y equals -2x plus b. I want to find the y-intercept. The way I'm going to do that is plug my point in for x and y. Okay, so I have -3 as my y. Somebody will get that part mixed up. They'll put the 2 there. That's incorrect because 2 is the x-coordinate. So -3 equals -4 plus b. Since that's a negative, we'll add it. And 1 equals b. So once you find your b, you're going to use your b and your slope to write the equation. And that's all we're asking you to do. All right. Down below here, we're still writing slope-intercept equation, but we're going through 2 points. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do number 3 here, or sorry, number 7, the third one in this group. So first off, I want to find my slope. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And you can pick whichever one to be your 1s and 2s. I'm going to go x1, y1, x2, y2. So we have 1 minus the other y over 1 minus 2. So that's going to be a 1 over 1 minus 2 is -1. So that's a -1 for my slope. Now it's just like the problems up above, okay, where we know the slope and we know at least 1 point. Okay, so that's just going to be a -x plus b, and plug in whatever point you want. I like to choose ones that have 0. So 0 is my y, -2 plus b. So that's going to be 0 equals 2 plus b. Subtract 2. And this is looking familiar because it's what we did in the problems up above. Once you have your slope and y-intercept, go ahead and put it in there. So that's -x minus 2. There we go. All right, moving on. The next section here, we're still writing slope-intercept form. That's the easiest one that we know how to write, especially just for starters, you know, when you just know some information about it. It's always easier to write in slope-intercept form and then convert it to the other forms as we learned earlier. Okay, so here we have an equation that's graphed. So I want to find my y-intercept first. So it looks like it's at -3. And then I just want to find another point where it crosses at a true grid point. It looks like right there. So it goes up 2 and over 1. So that's a slope of 2. So we know it's y equals 2x minus 3. And that's my final answer there. All right, go ahead and turn the page. So the top 2 problems, just like the ones that we just did. Let's go ahead and look at the next part. It says write in standard form with integer coefficients. Okay, so here we're talking about converting line forms. So I want to look at, let's go ahead and look at, now we'll do number 14 here. And so standard form means I have ax plus b y equals c. All right, where a, b, and c are integers. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add 8/5 to both sides, 8/5 x. So we have 8/5 x plus y equals 6. So I need to get rid of that 5 in the denominator. If you remember, we took the whole equation and multiplied it by the denominator itself, 5. So for this first one, the 5's cancel, you just get 8x. 5 times y would be 5y, and 5 times 6 is 30. Okay, that's a pretty nice way to get rid of any fractions in any problem that you have. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next section. So here we have standard form and we're writing it into slope-intercept form. So you always have to remember what you want to do. Let's go ahead and look at number 19 for this. So for number 19, the first thing I want to do is get rid of the x, or just move it to the other side. So when I subtract 3x, those ones go away. I get 2y equals negative 3x minus 6. And then we're going to divide by 2 on both sides. Now when we do that, those ones cancel. And I'm going to get y equals, I'm going to go and split that 2 up into that part and that part. So we have negative 3 over 2x. And then 6 over 2, or negative 6 over 2, is negative 3. That part's not as necessary to always do, but it's a good habit to get into, and it's easier to use now. Alright, here we're talking about parallel and perpendicular lines. Remember, parallel slope, or parallel, means same slope. And for perpendicular, means opposite reciprocal. Okay, I don't want to do any of those problems because I don't want to take away from you, but just for an example here, since we're looking parallel, it looks just like the problems from the first section because we know our slope. So like here, m equals negative 2. Okay, and use this point to figure out what your equation is. And remember, put it in slope-intercept form, so that's a little bit easy also. If we're looking at the perpendicular ones, I want the opposite reciprocal, so I change negative to positive and flip my fraction. So m will be 2/5, and use that point to figure out the rest of it. Okay? Turn the page, let's move on. The last thing we talked about was correlation and best fitting lines. If you remember, correlation has to do with how the points are scattered, okay, whether they're positive, negative, or no correlation. Okay, positive, and you're just kind of referring to the slope if you were to draw the line of best fit. So I would say like this one probably has a positive slope. And we just say that that's positive correlation. All right, and then I'm just going to tell you that there's one other positive one and one negative and one no correlation. I'll let you figure that out. I bet you have a good grasp on what that means. Okay. On the ones down here, okay, there's only 2 of them, but there's a lot of steps to do. So I'll go ahead and do one of these just to make it a little bit easier. I'll do the first one. So we have points at 0, 2. So 0 on x, 2 on the y. 2, 7. It's not quite there, probably about there. 4, 14. So 4, it's 14. Wow, I don't even know why I put that point there. That is not there. That was 2, 7, not 2, 9. Okay, 4, 14. 6, 17. And 7, 20. So, if you're looking at a line of best fit, it's really anywhere in here. And I always make sure that I pick 2 points that are important. All right, and I kind of want the same number of points above and below the line. I'm going to use the y-intercept here. And, to get the best fit, I'm probably going to go with the maximum point as well. Okay, there's not a lot of variance between these points. So we're just going to go with that as my line of best fit. And since, remember, I always use 2 points because I like to have 2 points to find my slope, because I do have to write the equation. So I'm using the point 0, 2 and 7, 20. So here we're just going to want to find slope between those 2 points. And so we'll say, I don't know, let's go 20 minus 2 over 7 minus 0. So that slope is going to be, looks like 18 over 7. And my y-intercept, I already have that. That's 2. So y is going to be 18 over 7x plus 2. All right, then I want to plug in 15 to figure out what it's going to be at that, predicting the next thing that'll happen. So we go y equals 18 over 7 times 15 plus 2. Great time for a calculator. We have some ugly fractions in there. And we'll just go decimal form. So 18 divided by 7 times 15 plus 2. And we get 40.57. Let's just call it 40.6. So at 15 it'd be 40.6. Okay. And so that's all I'm asking you to do. So good luck on that. And really, one problem's done. You just have to do the other one. Let's go ahead and look at the application. Okay, just get an idea here. So Mr. Gold decides to start a company selling G.I. Joe toys from the 1980s. So after 2 months, he still owes $1 for his startup costs, but after 7 months, he's made a total of $9. I'm making some money here any way I know how. So what is the start value, what is the slope? And so, you probably have a point here that's months, and I'm just going to call it profit. Okay, so like this point here, owing $1 after 2 months would be I've made negative $1, and then the other point you could think of as 7 months and positive $9. Okay, so you can go ahead and use that to find the slope, and then use that with slope-intercept form to find the initial value, just like the very first problems we did this section, and then you'll have your equation, and then just graph the line right here. Okay, the next set here we're looking at an actual scatter plot, so you want to just graph the points. So graph the data on the graph here. Try to put a best fitting line and find that equation, and then there's a what do we have here? There's a chapter 6 missing. So for that chapter 6, I just want you to go ahead and plug 6 in to figure out what it would be. All right, sounds pretty good. I wish you guys the best of luck. Or sorry, not chapter 6, but chapter 4, 6 days of studying, or of work to finish it. So again, plug that in. Good luck on the test, and keep on working. You guys are now, you guys are halfway done with the year. So congratulations, especially if you're ahead of schedule. That's great. Make sure we're keeping pace with the pacing calendars. We'll see you guys later.